Obligatory tourism wandering shot. Also, we're taking the Acela first class this morning.
Good morning, folks, from the Q4 Hotel in Long Island City. I had a good sleep finally on one of these trips. And that's all the best because we need to be first class today. Let's head down to the E train. That windowsill. Remember.
That was indeed a good hotel, and the value is awesome. $60. I'm only 15 minutes or less from Penn Station, right on the E train, very convenient. There were train noises all night, as you hear. It was therapeutic. So good. Over there is Sunnyside Yard. There, the commissary where all the food gets loaded on, yep. And now we're here at Queens Plaza. We're getting an E train. We may be going first class, but like everybody in New York City, we start like a rat. So even though we used a free upgrade coupon, we do get access to the Moynihan Train Hall's Metropolitan Lounge, which is all the better because I'm hardly any good at eating breakfast, let alone breakfast that I have to pay for. Now, free upgrade breakfast, that's my style. There's a first class lobby. Where we're going is down that stairway there. My return flight home was leaving out of Baltimore's BWI airport in just over 7 hours, so I opted to hasten my journey crossing several metroplexes in the Northeast United States. Flying out of Newark or JFK was an option, but that would deny me the chance to get another Amtrak route on video, and to see if the timetables could be reliable enough to make BWI another one of New York's airport options served by passenger rail. It was also my last day off, so taking Amtrak all the way home would have been impractical for my day job, though a trip back to the Midwest from New York or another point in the Northeast is on my list of must-do trips for 2025, even if it's in coach.
Take the escalator, staircase, and the elevator one level up to Amtrak. Amtrak customer service, Amtrak waiting room, Amtrak ticket office. Long Island ticket machines are upstairs. Long Island River, located on this level. Welcome to my
Amtrak's New York Metropolitan Lounge seems to have cut back the range of consumable amenities offered on our visit today, shifting passengers more onto the full-serve hot sandwiches and behind-the-counter wares rather than the numerous grab-and-go solid food items I'd seen on previous trips. For my breakfast needs, I'm simple enough for the on-tap cold brew coffee. The staff member working the hot food had preheated some egg and meat sandwiches, so I asked for one and went without chips this morning, knowing I was in for a full-on plated breakfast aboard this morning's first southbound New York to DC Acela run of the work week on a Monday in November. First class. So let's talk about why we're taking Acela out of New York. Didn't we just arrive in New York by Sun Country yesterday? Well, yes. The cheaper flight home was out of BWI. And I've never taken Acela before. I've taken the regional plenty of times, only once on my channel on the Keystone, but I wanted to take Acela before they give up the old Bombardier train sets, or Alstom, if you will. The Avelia Liberties are coming soon. Not as soon as most like, but you know, they're on their way. In any case, we're off today in first class because I used one of my 12-hour upgrade coupons, which don't take effect until 12 hours before your train is supposed to leave. Thank you very much, customer service agent who was wrong outside of Pittsburgh. I'm like, she just needed more job training. This sandwich this morning, this breakfast sandwich, it didn't look like much in the case, but oh, when it's heated up, so melty. You can taste the spinach in it just a little bit. And even for turkey sausage, it was pretty good. Now, that's not the only meal we're getting today. We get a plated breakfast on the Acela in first class as well. The other option, business class, I only paid $73 to get from New York's Penn Station down to Baltimore Penn Station. Now, why am I not going to BWI? Well, because this Acela doesn't go to BWI. This is one of the morning ones that wants to make better time. It doesn't stop at the airport. But that's no problem. We'll get in with almost over an hour's worth of MARC trains, or we could go up and get a light rail train to the airport. I'm going to go with MARC. We'll still have a little bit of time to look around their Penn Station, which is pretty cool in its own right.
Oh yes, my files. First class.
Now filled with lavender water, first class. It doesn't take a lot. I have a credit card with Amtrak and I get this coupon once a year, and with the points that I get for traveling even, you know, regular coach, I can buy passes like this. And I have to think that with fewer people traveling for business these days, you know, telecommuting being the thing, if we would call it that anymore, they have plenty of first class seats to sell, right? I guess we'll find out today. Until then, I'm just gonna watch the morning happen here at Moynihan and enjoy these plush digs until about an hour from now when we board Acela.
Please proceed to track 13 and wait for your usher instruction to board the train.
Acela is America's longest-serving high-speed train. Built by Bombardier and Alstom, coming online for service more than 20 years ago. These first-generation train sets are soon to see replacements once the new Avelia Liberty trains are fully tested and tweaked by Amtrak. It was really refreshing to be on board an entirely new-to-me passenger train interior, to feel familiar but in unspecific terms about the experience of where everything was and how it differed from Amtrak's Amfleet and Superliner-based routes. There's also a higher-level brand awareness on board. Amtrak promotes Acela as their flagship route, which is reputed to be no better shown off than in first class, such as we're traveling today. Getting a look around, it's like a time capsule of early 21st century commuter ideals. Specifically, how it's really comfortable with tremendous legroom, but otherwise a basic train set seen through the lens of some designers in the mid-90s with a nod to the high-speed trains of Europe.
Welcome aboard Amtrak Acela 2107. Making stops Newark, New Jersey, Metro Park, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Great Thursday Station, Wilmington, Delaware, Baltimore, Penn Station, and final destination will be Washington, D.C. Union Station. Ladies and gentlemen, please be advised it is assigned seating, so check your tickets. Please make sure you're in the correct car and the correct seat. Again, check your tickets at this time, ladies and gentlemen. It is assigned seating. We don't want anyone sitting in other passenger seats. Conductors are coming by to collect tickets, ladies and gentlemen. Please have your tickets out ready for inspection. If it is on your phone, please have it ready at this time. Please not wait for the conductor to come by. It does take a few moments to load up. Newark, New Jersey will be the first station stop.
Yeah, thank you so much. Would you care for Pellegrino water or juice? Would you care for Pellegrino water or juice?
Please keep track of your possessions and do not leave them unattended. Your carry-on items can be stored overhead or in the end-of-car luggage compartments. To ensure the comfort and safety of all passengers, do not stow luggage in the floor areas surrounding accessible seats. Accessible seating areas must be readily available for passengers with a disability. All luggage must be visibly tagged with your name and contact information. When moving about the train, be prepared for unexpected train movement.
Travel down the Northeast Corridor today offers more convenience in moving between major cities than funneling oneself into an airline terminal, at much better prices, even aboard Acela. But there's no guarantee of any specific level of reliability when you're riding under the antiquated landscape of overhead electric catenary. This route's right-of-way has been maintained with adequacy of ground-level safety, but not entirely capacity nor efficiency of service. As the Pacific Surfliners corridor is out west, the Northeast Corridor suffers now from its success and the physical needs of the line due to age in finding the means to gain momentum among more travelers. Even in the Northeast, a personal vehicle comes into play for most commuters in cities on the fringes of metro areas. New Jersey and Pennsylvania do rather well linking people to Acela via commuter rail on this line, somewhat less so with mostly frequent bus routes. But the buildup of commuter trains on the Northeast Corridor causes a lower overall average speed for most of the line, be it Acela or standard Northeast Corridor trains. With Acela, there are very convincing onboard amenities for those connecting through cities to enjoy. But those living further out with less convenient access may not often choose to take part in. Just as it is across much of the country, if you need to drive most of the way to get to your train, convenience says you should keep on driving into your destination city, unless the costs of getting your vehicle to your destination are greater than the cost of public transit fares.
Cream and sugar or just black? Fake sugar. Fake sugar? Yeah, thanks. I know.
welcome aboard Acela 2107. Please have your ticket tower ready for inspection. As assigned seating, please make sure the right car, right seat. Metro Park, we'll be next, 10 minutes.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry for the brief delay, but the cabin car is now open and ready to serve. We accept cash, Apple Pay, and all major credit cards. Thank you very much.
That will be Metro Park. Once again, Metro Park will be next.
The breakfast we're treated to as part of the first class upgrade is the Star Menu Omelet. It was good for a pre-made egg dish. There were not any weird flavors to it from being pre-made, just as good of a presentation as one would expect from a premium catered meal approved by Amtrak. It was a much more filling breakfast than I'm used to, but others might call it light. The at-seat dining option feels novel considering I frequent cafe cars on other routes, and I've been on trains with dining cars, but this felt like a more personal presentation and more dutifully controlled by the crew for being a one-on-one interaction in the relatively uncrowded setting of my own seat today. I might have considered this meal simply mediocre considering the price upgrade would have been several $100s more at booking without the upgrade coupon than business class, but for similar and greater costing upgrades on Amtrak long-distance trains, the food on Acela and the service by the crew were better realizing the value of the service on Acela. Even on the tray table versus a dining table on trains out west, it's less expensive than airlines and works well for those in the huge cities of the Northeast. Could this be profitable on a service outside of the megalopolis? It's unlikely, given the struggles of willpower to implement infrastructure upgrades needed in this part of the country that considers the choice of train travel more acceptably and with experience than most of the country. Amtrak owns much of the right-of-way or has favorable slotting on the corridor from Boston to DC, but in its history it has chosen to hold off on upgrading the electric infrastructure inherited from the Pennsylvania Railroad over much of this route, as well as deferring to freight railroad's protracted process for slotting new trains on the southern end. There's also switching, grade crossings, and other infrastructure needs that have been kicked out by Amtrak in an effort to respect the need to run any service in this critical corridor with something close to solvency rather than the best possible service. Nowadays, every train focused on commuters has diminished returns since working from home became more significant in the past decade. Insecurity about whether travel for other purposes is long for this world, when each city and town these days has more of what people want closer to where they live, is rampant. But I believe discretionary travel is here to stay, if a will to see more of those next big cities down the line stays alive in people. Acela may be a service tailored to serve the cities of the Northeast United States on tight timetables, but without some significant upgrades to the line to get it running on a dedicated and reliable right-of-way, the service will really only be a premium branded Northeast regional train, with a small but subjectively substantial time savings for the price. Though that's not to say a fancier train set such as these couldn't find a place on corridor routes elsewhere in North America after retirement. In terms of my trip, it was mostly to get my credibility card stamped by using an upgrade coupon to go to first class as a rite of passage among Amtrak wonks. For an outsider who had his pick of airports due to already being far from home, and just loving the change of scenery, using Acela to jump down the coast and try the airport a few cities south proved to be advantageous over the earlier regional train. That Amtrak train was due to depart New York over a half hour before my train, but due to delays, it was still awaiting arrival at New York Penn when we departed. So my self-prescription of the hardly faster high-speed train was an unexpectedly advantageous choice in getting me to BWI on as favorable a time frame as possible. The regular corridor train would have stopped at BWI, thus negating some of my layover at Baltimore Penn station, but would have tightened my time frame to get to the air terminal from the rail station, and then through security. Acela gave me a more leisurely pace for the extra fare, and though it was more due to the fewer number of station stops rather than the speed of the train, that's still a practical difference for my travel purposes. But okay, if the other corridor train hadn't been delayed, what then? Would Acela have been worth more than double the price of the slower train? As a rail fan, I have to say yes, because these train sets are in the evening of their lifespan, and they deserve to be ridden. As an average traveler, Acela makes sense if you're connecting to another Amtrak train. The likelihood of a misconnection is less, it's a simple process at the station compared to airports, and it delivers you to major city centers on a relatively budget rate with good onboard service.
Philadelphia, Great Third Street Station. If this is your station stop, please take some remaining time. Check around your seating area, overlook compartments for your personal belongings. And when you exit the train, please watch your step. There's a gap in the train and the stage platform. Philadelphia, Great Third Street Station. Coming up.
But for those with little time or patience for the slower pace of rail travel, or those seeking destinations beyond the eastern seaboard, Acela is just another underutilized novelty train that might not look like something worthy of personal or public funding. North America needs to get more desire to support all forms of infrastructure to get rail and other forms of transit really working for people, but the need is most visible where people see congestion issues getting around town. For a great deal of people in Middle America, the need to travel between major cities quickly is already a problem solved by cars for their daily grind and jet airliners for tourism purposes. When these folks lose the need to commute beyond their own towns and sometimes their own homes for work, or when they prioritize convenience as acutely as they do in personal vehicle ownership, the necessity of upgrading our rail infrastructure gets overlooked. Again, the mentality of one form of transportation getting priority favors highways to the point of rail being viewed as only required for freight operations in America, and cars or air travel serving all other needs. As much as the Northeast U.S. proves that all of these modes of transit can conceptually be prioritized in unison for better results, we also see here how much time, effort, political will, and ultimately money is needed to move the needle just enough to make barely a dent in the commute times of folks out here. But as metro area populations across North America surge over the decades, some plurality of modes is going to be needed to keep folks moving
Make sure
around.
You're in the right car in the right seat. Wilmington, Delaware, next 20 minutes.
Welcome aboard Amtrak's Acela. We'd like to extend a special welcome to our Amtrak Guest Rewards members. To ensure the comfort and safety of all passengers, do not stow luggage in the floor areas surrounding accessible seats. Accessible seating areas must be readily available, where we are serving a wide selection of hot and cold food and beverage items. At this time, the conductor will be coming through to inspect and scan your e-tickets. Please have them ready together with your identification to expedite the process. Thank you for choosing Amtrak.
And if better multimodal engineering ever gets to be a priority for cities, counties, states, and the nation at large, having a premium service like Acela can clearly reinforce a brand image to keep something as volatile as Amtrak's service alive through recent decades of struggle to invite and accommodate growth. Airlines need better service, but prioritize getting more passengers into each flight. Intercity buses used to be more frequent and reliable, but now seem to offer neither of those, all while being more expensive than Amtrak and sometimes flights.
Ladies and gentlemen, next station stop will be Wilmington, Delaware. This is your station stop. Please take some meeting time. Gather bullet personal belongings, and please make your way towards the nearest exit. When you exit the train, please watch your step. There's a Gatwick train station platform. Wilmington, Delaware, coming up.
Cars are the ultimate in terms of convenience of timing and multitude of options, until an increasing number of drivers overwhelm outdated highway infrastructure, and the cost of vehicle ownership hinders travel capabilities.
Transporting Wilmington, welcome aboard Acela 2107. Please have your tickets out ready for inspection. Baltimore, Penn Station, next stop, 40 minutes.
It would be better to have more choices of ways to get around, and to have better experiences while we do, by any form of transit. And for a little extra today, plus the upgrade coupon, I was able to have just that. A really nice time traveling a route I've taken several times before, much like I felt about Baltimore Penn Station, which I began to gather as we arrived on time and under clearing skies.
Now arriving Baltimore Penn Station. Thanks for choosing Amtrak. Have a great day, Baltimore Penn.
Thank you.
Great day, Steve.
Thank you. For all my years taking corridor trains, I'd only ever seen Baltimore's Penn Station from the station platform. Little did I know, inside there's a stately but cozy station. Built around the golden age of 20th century rail travel, Baltimore has worked to keep the charm and flow of the simple passenger rail depot, not changing the classic elements or finishes to keep a rail station feeling dignified in the 21st century, as it sees commuters and inner-city travelers through the waiting concourse above tracks, or catching buses and light rail around the station perimeter. In a future video, we'll get closer to the Baltimore rail stations here and down at the edge of the airport when we ride Mark's multi-level commuter rail service to catch our Sun Country flight out of BWI, one of my favorite airports in America for its understatement, average functional character, and classic structure. That's all I've got for you today. I realize Acela is a service in transition towards being more like a real high-speed service seen in other countries, and my on-time experience is also among many that have experienced delays or less than great service aboard. We're all on different journeys for different reasons, and I'm glad to take comments below about these complex topics. Feel free to tell me how I'm wrong, or if you agree, thanks. I like these weirdly interesting but ultimately pointless trips too. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.